Golf has this image of being the most peaceful game on earth. Perfect lawns, polite claps, hushed whispers around the green. The only thing louder than the birds is someone politely coughing during a backswing. But every now and then, golf throws that image straight out the window. Because as it turns out, the same people who carefully polish their 9-irons and tuck in their polos can also absolutely lose their minds. And when they do, it's chaos you never see coming. Take Goldberg, for example. You know him. Built like a tank, presence of a nightclub bouncer, the type of guy you wouldn't argue with over who gets the last bread roll. So picture this. It's the early 2000s, a sunny tournament, and everyone's just trying to enjoy a mellow afternoon of golf. Then Goldberg decides to put on his own little sideshow. A fan starts chirping, probably thinking he's being funny, and within seconds, Goldberg just scoops the guy up and launches him straight into a water hazard. Not a push, not a trip. A full-blown yeet, like this dude was a prop in a WWE ring. The crowd went from golf clap to absolute mayhem. 1 second you're watching someone putt. The next you're watching a grown man swim for his life in khakis. And the wildest part? Goldberg just kept walking like he'd merely swatted a fly. No grin, no apology. Just whelp, problem-solved energy. The poor guy in the water was probably rethinking every decision that got him there, while the rest of the crowd treated it like a free bonus show. But that wasn't the last time fans and players collided. Fast forward to Bryson DeChambeau, the scientist of golf, the guy who turns every swing into a physics lecture. Normally, Bryson's biggest enemy is air resistance or maybe his own temper. But at one tournament, it wasn't the wind that messed with him. It was a grown man acting like a playground bully. Bryson had just wrapped up a hole, crowds buzzing, and he spots a kid on the edge. Wah! One of those wholesome little gestures pros do to make a fan's day. Except mid-air, out of nowhere, this adult stretches out like he's catching the game-winning touchdown and snatches it right out of the kid's hands. You could feel the entire crowd's soul leave their bodies. Gasps everywhere. The kind of sound you hear when someone drops a wedding cake. Bryson didn't even blink. He just stops, stares this guy down in front of thousands of people, and tells him to hand it back. Not a suggestion, not a polite, "Oh, hey sir," but a straight-up command. The guy froze, like a kid caught stealing cookies, and awkwardly shoved the ball back to its rightful owner. The little kid lit up like it was Christmas morning, and the crowd exploded with applause. It was the kind of moment you see in a sports movie, except instead of a dramatic score, the soundtrack was "Grown Man Publicly Shamed for Stealing from a Child." Bryson might get roasted for being intense, but that day, he was a hero. And honestly, that petty justice hit harder than one of his drives. Now, if Bryson's moment was satisfying, Rory McIlroy's encounter at the Ryder Cup was pure comedy. Imagine thousands of fans, the pressure of representing your country, and Rory just trying to do his thing. Then here comes one drunk dude who decides this is his moment to shine. He starts yelling in Rory's face. Stuff about being small, stuff that doesn't even make sense. Just belligerent nonsense fueled by cheap beer and bad judgment. Rory stops mid-walk and stares him down. That was it. No yelling back, no clever comeback, just a look sharp enough to cut glass. And suddenly, it's like the universe hit the "you messed up" button. Security didn't just send one guy to handle it. No, 4 full state troopers rolled up like they were pulling someone out of a riot. The heckler went from wannabe comedian to escorted guest in record time. The whole crowd was buzzing, low-key enjoying the walk of shame as this guy got hauled out. Rory didn't even crack a smile. He just reset, shook it off, and kept moving. It was the ultimate example of calm anger. Sometimes silence isn't just louder than words, it's scarier. And Rory proved that in less than 10 seconds. But if you think hecklers are wild, wait until you see golfers go after each other. In Canada, yes, polite. Sorry for everything, Canada. A golf course in British Columbia turned into a battleground. One group was playing slow, another was getting impatient, and instead of resolving it with a handshake and a "carry on, eh?" things escalated fast. Golf balls started flying toward the wrong people. Shouting turned into shoving, and then, full-blown fistfights right there on the green. We're talking punches, kicks, guys on the ground getting soccer kicked in the ribs, while others tried to pull them apart. At one point, it looked less like a golf course and more like an amateur UFC event. The thing about fights on a golf course is how absurd the setting is. Perfectly trimmed grass, birds chirping, soft wind in the trees. It's the kind of environment where you expect whispered compliments about someone's swing, not full-on mayhem. And then, right in the middle of all that peaceful scenery, two guys are trying to choke each other out like it's a pay-per-view event. Clubs are scattered across the fairway like medieval weapons nobody remembered to pick up. Scorecards are abandoned mid-round, and somewhere in the distance there's probably one poor guy clutching his putter, muttering, "What the hell is happening right now?" The surreal contrast made it even funnier, like watching a nature documentary suddenly cut to a street fight. Canadians are supposed to be the world's leading experts at apologizing, but on that day, there were no sorries, no polite handshakes, just straight chaos on manicured grass. And the weirdest part? People recorded the whole thing, so the world got to see a quiet golf course transform into Jerry Springer in seconds. For a sport that prides itself on etiquette, moments like that feel like watching a tea party erupt into a bar fight. And honestly, they're way more entertaining than watching someone sink a 20-foot putt. Now let's talk about one of the most hilariously awkward moments between players themselves. Keegan Bradley and Miguel Angel Jimenez, two names you wouldn't normally pair with heated drama, ended up in one of golf's most uncomfortable showdowns. It was 2015, WGC Cadillac match play, and Bradley was dealing with a drop situation on the 18th hole. Pretty routine stuff. There was a rules official on hand. Everyone was following procedure. The whole thing should have been over in 30 seconds. But then Miguel decided to casually wander into the situation like he'd been personally invited. Spoiler, he hadn't. Jimenez starts chiming in about the 2 club length rule, throwing in his 2 cents while nobody asked for change. Bradley didn't appreciate it. The tension built until Jimenez flat out told him to shut up. Now, in everyday life, shut up is nothing special. But in golf, that's basically flipping a table in a 5-star restaurant. Bradley got heated, stepping up to defend himself and his caddy, voices rising while everyone else looked like they wanted to crawl into the nearest sand trap just to escape the awkwardness. And when it was all over, Bradley refused to shake Jimenez's hand. No polite wrap-up, no good round, mate, just frost. Apparently, the tension lingered even in the locker room after. If you ever needed proof that golf arguments can feel like family dinners gone wrong, this was it. But Bradley and Jimenez had nothing on the chaos that went down at Two Eagles Golf Course in Colorado. This wasn't a disagreement. This was a straight-up brawl that went viral for all the wrong reasons. It started with the classic trigger, slow play. 4 hours of dragging pace, frustration bubbling, patience running out. By the time the breaking point came, people weren't just muttering under their breath. They were shouting across fairways, daring each other to throw down. And then, of course, somebody actually did. What started as words turned into shoves. A push led to a fist. Next thing you know, grown men were tossing punches on the fairway like it was high school all over again. Shirts came off, jaws got rocked, and at one point someone actually yelled, "Larry, do something." But Larry, whoever he was, clearly didn't get the memo because he was nowhere to be found. The whole scene spiraled so badly that the course had to release an official apology afterward and hand out lifetime bans like Oprah giving away cars. You get a ban, everybody gets a ban. The funniest part? Nobody even remembers the score that day. Nobody cared who was winning the round. What stuck in people's minds was the image of middle-aged golfers swinging fists instead of clubs, stumbling across the grass like they'd forgotten this was supposed to be leisure, not Mortal Kombat. It's the kind of thing that makes you ask, how do you show up to play golf and leave with a black eye? And then we land on Rickie Fowler. Rickie's not the guy you expect to lose his cool. He's got the easygoing vibe, the flat brim hat, the smile. But even he has a limit, and he proved it in the best way possible, with a one-liner that went down as one of the coldest comebacks in golf. He's lining up for a putt, trying to zone in, when some genius in the crowd decides this is his moment to play comedian. The heckle wasn't clever. It wasn't even funny. Just loud, annoying noise in the middle of Rickie's focus. Rickie misses the putt, and the heckler laughs, probably thinking he just earned his 15 seconds of fame. But Rickie? He didn't let it slide. He didn't yell, didn't get rattled. He just turned, dropped a line so sharp and so perfectly timed that the entire crowd gasped, then roared with laughter. In 1 second, Ricky put that heckler back in his seat both literally and socially. The guy shrank into the stands, probably wishing the earth would open up beneath him. That's the difference between amateurs and pros. You chirp, they cook you alive in front of thousands without even raising their voice. And that right there is the beauty of these meltdowns. Golf is supposed to be about quiet concentration, manicured order, and gentlemanly respect. But give it time, and the cracks start to show. One wrong comment, one slow group, one stolen ball. Suddenly the calmest sport in the world looks like an episode of reality TV. And maybe that's why people love these clips so much. Because they remind us that even in the most buttoned-up environments, humans are still humans. We get petty, we lose our cool, we say or do something stupid. And when it's caught on camera, it's comedy gold. So which moment had you shaking your head the most? Was it Goldberg tossing a fan into the drink like it was nothing? Bryson going dad mode on a ball thief? Rory's icy stare that summoned 4 troopers in 10 seconds? Or maybe the full-scale brawls that turned peaceful fairways into fight clubs? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you've ever seen golf chaos in real life, share the story. Those are always the best. And if you enjoyed this trip through golf's wild side, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around. Because trust me, the madness in this sport is only just warming up.